Hello guys, this is Boomerang here, welcome back to another video, and today, this is going to be a rework of the Great Building tier list that I've done a long time ago. So I've gotten a lot of feedback on the video about a lot of changes that I need to make, and I agree with you. I've also spotted some changes that none of you seem to notice, or some weird, wacky stuff, so I've decided to completely redo it as well. And this time I promise I have every single great building down here. Some of you pointed that out, and I've also scrambled them, as you can see. So it's not like organized by any means. So yeah, I just want to let you know that, and let's get started. So first off, the Oracle of Delphi. A lot of people said I was a bit too generous with the Oracle. Yeah, you'll see what I've said.
With the Oracle. That's Zeus, not Oracle. Oracle's okay.
I just was not harsh enough on it. It's still going to be a D tier, although it definitely has its use in the early game. It's useless later on. I mean, yes, it's 3x3, but still, I'd rather get a Winner's Plaza in that area rather than Oracle. Talking about another 3x3 building, which is a lot better, Observatory. Okay, that's going to be... So now, I've heard someone saying that it should be an F in my comment section, or not in my comment section, on Discord. Although the thing is that when I did the tier list, I didn't realize that was Guild Treasure. It was like 3. At level 1, I thought it was only 3 of one good. It was actually 3 of each good. So that's why I ranked it as C. Definitely an S, now that I've discovered that. And since Guild Treasure goods are so important in GBG, your guild most likely needs one of those fellows right there. Now another one which is an S tier. I'm going to actually rank them in order like that. Himeji Castle. Very nice. I have one currently giving me a ton of supplies. Well, that's not really what it's for. Spoils of War, I mean, it's such a good feeling when I get 200 forge points from it. I mean, I don't know what's so good about it, although, so get some rogues, some goods. Overall, it's a very well-rounded great building, and that's why I'm going to put in the S tier. But it's going to be behind the Observatory, because, yeah, that gives you a ton of goods, and it's small. So, now the Space Carrier. It's a very similar great building to the Himeji Castle. Passive one's pretty much exactly the same, but it's with negotiating. The active boost is the goods, or special goods, before it gives you medals, and a ridiculously no amount of medals, so that's not helpful. I'm gonna put an A anyways, because I've heard those special goods can really help with you in the later eras, and that, there's also the diplomatic gifts, which is always nice to have. And I've also heard that this is a late game great building, and I completely agree with that. Next, we have St. Mark's Basilica, or SMB. Some people in the comments said I should have brought them up above Lighthouse of Alexandria, although I could put in B. I disagree, mainly for the fact that St. Mark's is 6x6 and Lighthouse is 4x4. Now, they do have good points, and it completely depends on if you're an age rusher or not. If you're not, you'll have more supplies and coins, and St. Mark's can really be helpful. According to the Lighthouse of Alexandria, that's going to be an A tier. No, it's not better than that. Because it's 4x4, it's pretty small. It's also very well-rounded in a lot of ways. You get those goods. Supply boost is very helpful, especially with me, who's an absolute addict with wanting as many coins as supplies and vice versa. And I also have a lot less supplies and coins because I'm not an age rusher. But yeah, solid A. Another A tier, Golota Tower. This has gotten some controversy in the con section, and it is a controversial great building. Although I love it. 3x3, it gives you goods. I mean, a lot of people say it's an advanced one, although I completely disagree. It's useful at any time of the game. The fact that yes, you do have to spend forge points, although it gives, unlike regular goods buildings, which give you one good, it gives you a bit of everything, and that's especially helpful for a lazy player like me. Yeah. Along with that, those plunder repels, even though they're not the primary use of it, they also can come in handy every once in a while as well. Overall, 3x3, very solid great building. Moving on to the great building of all memes. We've started off on a really high note with a lot of these, but now we're gonna go to the bottom of the barrel. Colosseum. Like, come on, are you serious? 6x7 produces no medals whatsoever and happiness. I mean, I'd rather have coins and supplies than medals. Or, I don't know if that's just me or not. But, yeah. Garbage. Absolute garbage. And a lot of guilds would actually ban you for having this. So, yeah, do not build. Haji, it's kind of a weird great building. It's huge. It doesn't produce a lot of forge points. I personally do not like it, but I know some people do, so, because I'm going to put it in C tier. Although, yet again, in an attack-based meta, even though I am more of a passive player, it's just too big. Alright, we've experienced strong and weak one, great buildings, and now we're going to experience an overrated one, Deal Castle. Like, come on! Why does everyone build it? First off, medals, bleh. No, the only thing you need for medals is the arc. Secondly, the defense boost, it's huge, 49 squares. You could have done so much better if you just had tacticians, towers, and watchfires everywhere. But defense isn't even helpful. Like, I'd rather just get a Glotta Tower with Plunder Repel than have St. Basil's, which is going to come up pretty soon, or Deal Castle. Along with that being 49 squares, kind of garbage. If you say it's the worst great building game, hallelujah. That would actually make my day, because why do people even like this great building is my question. Moving on to the Blue Galaxy. I'm going to put on A, probably here? I think that's good. Very useful in the late game if you're trying to maximize your efficiency, especially if you're a passive player. I'm kind of a 50-50 one. I'm probably going to build it anyways. But like I said, it's more of a late game tower. It only works if you have a huge forge point a day collection. The Statue of Zeus. Tiny, compact, attack boost for life. In such an attack boost oriented meta, 6 squares, you can get so much attack. Like level 100, I mean, not a lot of people level up to level 100 these days, but that's 75% each. That's over 25 attack per square. Like, come on. I mean, level 30, it's 10% attack per, 10% attack per square. Like, this great building's insane for everyone. I mean, even a passive player, I mean, 6 squares. Like, even if I was, like, completely passive, I'd still build it because of how tiny it is. Terracotta Army. I do not like this great building as much as a lot of people do. I'm probably going to do it. Should I do it in an A? I feel like I've been stacking too many A tiers. Yeah, I'm going to put it behind those, though. It's only really good in the late game once you've got your Trinity to a good stopping point. More or less, like, I mean, in a few years, it'll probably be power crept. So, I mean, it's good now, but it's not going to be good forever unless you have it up to, like, level 100. Oh, yeah. Also, with the Terracotta Army, it gives 2/3 the amount of attack as the Trinity, and it costs way more. Like, 5 times as much? I don't know the math for it exactly, but yeah, it costs a lot. The Kraken! I'm solid B. I mean, I personally like it, although I know a lot of people find it as an overrated great building. Yeah. I feel like it really depends on how active you are. If you're an extremely active one, you probably will not build it, but most people would anyways. But talking about overrated, Flying Island, on USY, it's like the most overrated great building ever. Like, everyone has it, mainly because the top guild is a guild filled to the brim with scrubs who do not know how to play the game, and so they just spend money, and more money on the game just to counteract their dumbness. Enough ranting. D tier. Some people say it's an S tier. Some people say it's worse than the Colosseum. I mean, they actually have a point there. It does cost way more than the Colosseum. Its forge points a square is not great. Although at least it does something. Here's my opinion. At least it does something. It's not good. Although it's better than the Colosseum. It's also 6x4, so that's half the size of Deal Castle. And a lot smaller than Colosseum. So it's definitely better than those two. Although still, I don't think it's great. Another overrated great building which scrubs build. The Virgo Project. Now, at first, it sounds really good. Knocking out half of your army in one shot, that sounds amazing. But the issue is that Forge of Empires is a stamina game. And because of that, in GBG, those will basically kill units at 0 attrition, and that'll barely save you any damage whatsoever. I mean, you're better off with the Kraken, as if you're fighting a no siege camp sector, you'll get those units removed up to 25 attrition. But yeah, just, it isn't Virgo Project itself which is bad, it's just how it's Forge of Empires has oriented itself in the years. Innovation Tower, if you build it, you're playing with fire. The thing is that yes, it does produce population, although there's been more and more special buildings which have been producing population and happiness. A lot of them produce attack, and along with that, a lot more force points than the Innovation Tower can provide. Now, that could be useful in EMA if you're like running into huge population issues, but for me, I'd rather not. There's also the small percentage of people who are barracks fighters. That's really helpful for them, which is why it's a C now. But other than that, it's kind of a niche great building at the moment. Habitat, that's going to be right next to Inno Tower for the reason that, like, with barracks fighters, they love both of them. The fact that they give you tons and tons and tons of population, which you can put down to build more and more barracks. And that's how they like it. And though with anyone else, population's practically useless. So, yeah. So, Arctic Orangery, this is a really good great building. Is an S, I'm almost tempted to make it a god. No. That's reserved for 3 other great buildings, although it's still a really strong attack building. I'd say probably the best one in the game. Yeah, because the thing is that as power creep goes on, you get more attack, and the crits will become stronger. I mean, before it probably was Zeus, although now I think it's AO, because it's just so well rounded with those crits. Also, it gives you all forge points if you are a passive player. So yeah, really good. Gaia statue. Garbage. Okay, I'm gonna give you a bit of an explanation there. Like the Colosseum, I think Metals and Happiness are the worst combo. Although Gaia statue is half the size, and it gives you a lot more of them. But at the same time, it's like, those are never really helpful. Metals just stack up in the late game, and Happiness does practically nothing. Even if you're a barracks fighter, Alcatraz usually gets that niche over with. Along with that, it's a lot more expensive to level. Although I haven't really, counted that as much with these tier lists. But moving on, we've got Rainforest Project. I've heard at one point, once upon a time, it was a great building, although now it's kind of power crept out of existence. So now, I mean, it's not terrible, although it's just kind of meh at the moment, because it's 6x6, it produces a lot of goods at level 1, although the amount of goods isn't double from, Galata Tower each level you go by, so eventually it's going to get less and less and less space efficient compared to the Galata Tower, until it's practically useless. And along with that, blueprints aren't really helpful once you have an arc. Well, an arc level 80, so yeah. Truce Tower, that's going to be a D as well. That is a very controversial one. First thought, I really liked it, not gonna lie, although then when I've learned more about it, it's not so great. 30 squares, you get some goods. Supplies are kind of meh. Although the goods you get from aiding, yes, you can get higher level goods, although at the same time, I'd rather get Flying Island for, same level goods, or King Magic Castle, or Space Carrier, or Temple of Relics. So many other options, and in my opinion, higher level goods, even though it's the only great building which does that, they aren't so good. Voyager, that's going to be an F, although it's going to be above them. All of these, it's like Truce, but a bit worse, because the thing is that with Galata Tower and his Plunder Repels, it just doesn't do so well these days. And even before, yes, you get some goods, although it is pretty big, and it's a big space not to have forge points, or attack, or any of that sort of stuff. Although it's not huge, so there's the plus. Stargazer. This is a great building that I have a soft heart to. It's kind of meh. I ranked it B, maybe it was an A last time, although it's not that strong. I kind of gave too much shit. It definitely is better than the Virgo Project, that's for sure. But I'm gonna give it C ahead of all of these. Ah, we settled across the worst great building in the game, the Ark. I mean, come on, you have to just put forge points, spend forge points on other people's great buildings, you get nothing back. There's no point in building it. Nothing at all. It gives you nothing. 0%. And plus, you have to get these freaking blueprints just to build it. Like, how bad can it be? I was being sarcastic again. Alright, I'm putting it in God tier. Best great building ever. How it works is, I actually didn't know how it worked at first. It's kind of confusing, but when you donate to a great building, it usually gives you a profit. Although the Ark boosts that profit. And at level 80, it gives you a 90% profit, which can make it so that you can put more forge points and get on great buildings and get more forge points back, along with that giving you a ton of blueprints and medals, which makes both of them kind of pointless to get from other great buildings. Notre Dame. I'm probably going to put it right here. 6x4, exactly like Gaia, although it doesn't have as big, of a load of a production, so yeah. Like that's a bigger Oracle. I'd rather have the small size over, the extra happiness and supplies that the Notre Dame has, so. Although that's just my opinion. Atomium. This is an interesting great building. It's 6x7. It's kind of a niche one. It's not really worth it until you're higher level and your Ark and Observatory are really strong. In my opinion, I don't really like it because I feel like it can be easily replaced by Statues of Honor, but I'm going to put a B tier anyway for those people who really like it. Alcatraz. That's a God tier. Not because the prisoners are gods, but because of how many units it produces. Like, it's insane. It's huge. I know that. I hesitated to build it for a long time, and you should really not build it until you're getting your Ark up. And then you can level up to level 10, maybe a bit higher. And so you feel like you're getting good enough amount of units. Mine is currently level 13, and it's giving me 11 units a day. And, it's pretty good at the moment. Now, if you want to sell your Oracle, but you have a ton of hammocks, and you want to sell those as well, although you don't have enough room for Alcatraz, I'm going to talk about an alternative a bit later. Cape Canaveral. I've ranked that in S tier last time. I'm going to do it again. No, I'm joking. Oh, I've got a lot of pushback from that. I'm going to do a B tier. Now, the reason for that, if you're wondering, is because of my passive playstyle. Right there. Thing is that it's been getting worse and worse because of GBG. And Guild Battlegrounds has really pushed the meta for fighting. And Cape Canaveral, that's not a fighting great building. So, yeah. We're getting all of the God tiers. Chateau, again, a God tier. Originally, I'd place it above Alcatraz before that nerf, although now I'm going to place it behind, because, yeah, I mean, it gives you a ton of goods, yes, although, I mean, I'm kind of lazy and I don't really psych a lot, although it really gives you a lot of goods, and it makes a lot of goods your buildings redundant, actually, or at least slightly redundant, except for Ark and Observatory. Moving on. Lotus Temple. F tier. Maybe here? Yeah, I think that's right. Royal Albert Hall, I put it into D last time. I think I'm going to put it in C because, yeah, it's good in the early game. Although once you've got enough supplies, you can just sell it. And you could just rely off of Lighthouse. I mean, it's getting worse and worse with power creep, but even you can sell the Lighthouse if you want to, if you don't need those supplies. So, and this is really big as well. It was meant for time back way and then, where there used to be a lot less things which gave you a ton of supplies, and you needed a lot more supply boosters. Space Needle, that's going to be above Lotus, but still enough. 5x6, Lotus is 6x6. Pretty trash, happiness and coins exactly like Lotus, yeah. Garbo. The Capitol, I'm going to put that right here. It's big, and it gives you population, but at the same time, it's like, it doesn't give you a lot, We are really on a bad streak, getting a lot of the F's down. Frauenkirche, that's how it's pronounced, if you're wondering. It's a really weird word to pronounce. It's going to be a D. Is it better than Truce? Yes, I think it's better than Truce. So I'm going to put it there. Thing is that the goods are kind of meh. And if you And like I was saying before, if you want to sell your Oracle and you have a ton of hammocks, you can just plop down Frauenkirche of Dresden, just level up a couple levels, don't level too high. And then once you have the Alcatraz, sell it and get that. That's exactly what I've done in my base. Moving on to Castle, that's an S tier, definitely. Le Castle, Le Monte. Attack and force points, kind of the best of both worlds, to be honest there. The Cathedral of Aachen, that's also going to be an S behind Castle. I mean, people are upset that I put Cathedral underneath Castle, and also that I put them too low. Because, you know, attacks all the rage. So I put it beneath Castle because of the people are more passive. And yeah, they don't really want just having attack, fort size, and no forge points. So yeah, that's why I put behind. Some people might, but you know, just isn't as good in those regards. One of the most overrated great buildings in the game, St. Basil's Cathedral. That's going to be a D right at the end. Right there. Defense, like I said earlier, is overrated. There's no point. I mean, I feel like, yes, plundering can be a bit of peeve sometimes, but at the same time, when people plunder you, especially in the later game, they're barely taking anything out of your daily collection. Even if you're a passive player, like, got so many buildings, it doesn't really matter. And plus, with how many attack boosts people have these days, these two great buildings will do nothing against them. You're better off with the Glada Tower's Repel, because that's not based off of your opponent's attacking army stats, if you know what I mean. Now, Tower of Battle. Wait, what the heck did I just say? The Tower of Babel. It's stuff. I found it actually kind of trash in the early game. It was a lot worse than Oracle, but I never really liked it, especially since, what is this called? Glada Tower came out. Could put a C tier at the end. It can be useful in the late game, although not a lot of people have it. The Temple of Relics. It's a pretty good great building. If you really like the antique dealer and you've got most of your special buildings from the antique dealer. It gives you a lot of coins for the antique dealer. Yes, you see where I'm going. Although, a lot of people don't use it, though, because of its size. I'm going to give it a B. I'm probably going to put it here, maybe. And the last but not least, the two great buildings I have no clue about how to rank. I do not know a lot about these. Atlantis and Seed Vault. I forgot Seed Vault is okay, so I'm going to give it a C. Maybe right there. And Atlantis has gotten a severe nerf after the Glada Tower, so I'm going to put that D. Maybe, where, though? Where? No, it's probably right there. So anyway, this is my tier list. If you have anything that you want to say in the comment section, if there's anything I did wrong, let's say, or any advice on how this, what I could improve on this, I'd feel free to let me know in the comments. I'm going to be free for feedback. And just before I go, I'm going to show you my base, since I haven't been recording for such a long time on this channel. Alright, here's my base. It's changed a lot, hasn't it? I think the last time I recorded I was in Industrial Age. I went up to Progressive Era. Got a lot of new stuff, as you can see. I need to see where I left off last. I've also been keeping track of my great building levels as I progressed. So, that'll be interesting in a future spreadsheet. But, as you can see, I am kind of 50-50. I have this art exhibition. I can't speak. Art exhibition here. I've got this Statue of Honor. Terracotta Army, or Terracotta Vineyard, sorry. But I've also got some attack buildings, like that. Don't mind me, that was a mistake I did, the Halloween event. I've also got some attack buildings, including, the cherry sets, that's pretty attack focused. Along with that, checkmates, carousels, winners plazas, I've seen some before. Gates of the Sun God, I'm probably going to sell those pretty soon and replace them with Faces of the Ancient, but yeah, I've got some attack buildings and also some defense buildings as well. And there's my Druid Temple. And if you're curious about my great building levels, here it is. Yeah. I still don't have my arc to level 80. I've been working on that real hard lately. So, and I've also been working on my wishing well world really hard as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Peace out.